Adanne was known for her bright eyes and her fearless heart. She was not a loud woman, but she was not afraid to speak when something was wrong. In the kingdom of Okaliba, respect for the elders was the law. No one questioned their words. They ruled everything, the farms, the market, even the marriage. And when they spoke, the whole kingdom bowed. For many years, Okaliba was peaceful. The people farmed, trade, the land was rich, and the river Urume ran clear and sweet. But one year, everything began to change. The first sign came with the yam harvest. The yams came out black and rotten, like something cursed. Then goats began dying in the night. The women cried that their breast milk had turned bitter, and one morning the children in the village woke up coughing blood. Fear spread faster than wind. The elders called a meeting under the sacred Iroko tree, and the people stood far away waiting for their decision. Eldidu, the oldest of them, then stood up. The gods are angry, he said. They have turned their faces away from Okaliba because of our sins. We must offer sacrifice to cleanse the land. 10 maidens must be given to the river Urume. Only their blood can bring back the rain and drive away the curse. The crowd gasped. Mothers crushed their daughters. Men looked at one another, but said nothing. In Okaliba, no one ever argued with the elders. Their words was final, like thunder from heaven. But that day, one voice rose from the crowd, a woman's voice. Her name was Adanne. She was the daughter of Okechukwu, a poor palm wine tapper who had died years before. She lived alone with her mother, who used to sell roasted plantain at the market square. Adanne was known for her bright eyes and her fearless heart. She was not a loud woman, but she was not afraid to speak when something was wrong. Her late mother had told her when she was a child, "My daughter, a woman's tongue is not her shame. It is her weapon. Use it when silence becomes poison." So when Adanne heard the elders' decision, she stepped forward and shouted, "No, the gods are not angry. You, the elders, are the ones destroying the land." The whole crowd turned to her in shock. It was as if lightning had struck in the middle of the market. One of the elders shouted, "Silence that woman. How dare she speak when men are talking?" But Adanne did not stop. "You sit under the Iroko tree and tell us what the gods want, but you never tell us what you do at night. You have turned the river black with your greed." The crowd began to murmur. Eldidu slammed his staff on the ground 3 times. "Adanne," he said, "you have insulted the council of Okaliba. You will answer to your words." That evening, Adanne was called to face the council. The elders sat in a half circle. Eldidu spoke again. "You have disrespected the elders of the Okaliba. You have accused us of lies before the people. What do you have to say?" "I only said what is true," Adanne said. "The river is dying, and it is not the gods who poison it. It is man's doing. You cannot keep killing innocent girls and calling it sacrifice." The elders whispered among themselves. Then one of them rose and pointed at her. "You will be banished from Okaliba. Leave before the first cock crows. If you are still here by morning, the punishment will be death." Her mother ran forward and held her daughter's hand, crying, "Adanne, please bow and beg them. You will die." But Adanne shook her head. "If I bow to lies, I will die anyway." That night, she packed a small bag with dry gari and pankannel. Before leaving, she knelt by her mother's beside and whispered, "Mama, do not cry. I will find the truth, and when I return, Okaliba will know peace again." Then she walked into the forest, guided only by the moonlight. The forest around Okaliba was feared by everyone. It was said to be the home of Alandume, the spirit of earth, a being that punished liars and protected the innocent. No one entered it at night, but Adanne walked deeper and deeper until she reached a clear place where a giant tree grew. The air was cold and heavy. Adanne knelt there and spoke softly. "Great spirits of the land, my people suffer. The river is dying. The elders say the gods are angry. But my heart tells me there is another truth. Show me." Then a cool wind blew through the trees, and a soft voice spoke from the darkness. It was neither male nor female. "Adanne, daughter of courage," the voice said, "you have spoken truth before liars. Listen well, the gods are not angry. It is the elders who have angered the earth. They have been digging gold beneath the river's bed. They take what belongs to the land and call it sacrifice. The river bleeds from their greed." Adanne's eyes widened. "So that is why the water turned black," she whispered. "That is why the crops are dying." The spirit continued. "Tomorrow, go to the river before the sun rises. Speak the truth to the people. Do not fear their anger. If you speak with a pure heart, I will be with you." The wind stopped. The night grew silent again. Adanne sat there until dawn, her heart burning with courage. The next morning, the whole kingdom gathered at the river Udume. The 10 chosen maidens stood dressed in white. The elders were already there, chanting with their staffs raised high. Then a sound came from the forest, the sound of footsteps. Everyone turned. It was Adanne. She was carrying a clay clay bowl filled with black river water. Eldidu shouted, "You dare return? Guards, seize her!" But Adanne raised the bowl high. "No, let the people see what you have done." She poured the water onto the ground. The soil hissed and bubbled. The crowd gasped. "This is not the anger of gods," Adanne cried. "This is poison. Look beneath the river. The elders have been digging gold and selling it to strangers. That is why the river turned black." The crowd began to shout. Some ran to the river bank, digging into the mud, and it was true. Gold dust sparkled beneath the surface. The maidens dropped to their knees, crying with relief. The elders looked around, their faces pale. One of them tried to speak, but the people began to throw stones and sand. "You lied to us," they shouted. "You killed our daughters to your greed." The council of elders was broken that day. The river began to clear again. Days later, the kingdom gathered again under the same iroko tree. This time, there was no elder sitting proudly. Eldidu was gone, and so were the others. In their place, the people formed a new council. 3 elders, 3 youths, and 1 woman chosen by the people. The first woman chosen was Adanne. From that day, her title was the voice of the people. She spoke for the women, the farmers, the poor, and anyone who could not speak for themselves. And whenever a young girl in Okaliba hesitated to speak her mind, the old women would whisper to her, "Remember Adanne? She spoke when silence was safer. She stood when fear ruled the land. She changed Okaliba with her truth." Many moons passed and peace returned to Okaliba. The river Ulume flowed clear again, and children played by its bank without fear. The land began to heal, the yam grew fat, goats gave birth again, and laughter filled the air. Adanne became a symbol of courage and truth. People came from other villages to see the woman who had stood against the elders and lived. They brought her gifts, baskets of fruits, but Adanne took none of it for herself. "Let the gift go to the poor," she always said. "If I fought for the truth, it was not for wealth." Under her leadership, the new council ruled with fairness. No decision was made without hearing the voice of the women, and for the first time, girls were allowed to learn to read the sacred writings. But Adanne never forgot her mother's word. "Use your tongue when silence becomes poison." So she kept using her voice, not to boast but to guide. She taught young people that bravery is not the absence of fear, but the decision to stand firm even when fear is loud. Adanne grew older, but her eyes still shone bright. One evening, she sat by the river Ulume, the same river that had almost taken 10 minutes long ago. Adanne smiled and spoke softly to the water. "You and I, we both suffered from the lies of men, but we both healed." The wind blew gently, as if answering her. She closed her eyes, and a peaceful smile spread across her face. When the people found her the next morning, she was sitting there, still smiling, her walking stick by her side. They buried her under the old iroko tree, where she had once defied the elders, and on her grave they carved these words: "Here lies Adanne, the woman who spoke when silence rules." Her voice filled Okaliba. From then on, every year during the harvest festival, the people gathered by the river to sing her name. The women sing first, "Adanne, daughter of courage, your truth still lives in our hearts." And the men answered, "May every child of Okaliba speak with your strength." And so, even after her death, Adanne's spirit lived on in every brave girl who refused to be silenced, in every man who chose justice over greed, and in every river that remembered the sound of truth.